Hey, wonderful mathematicians. It's me again, your friendly old teacher. Hope you guys remember my face. Today we're going to talk about adding and subtracting mixed numbers. This is what you're going to be doing in your workbook. Sorry, I have to talk a little slower. This is what you're going to be doing in your workbook today. And there's some interesting things to keep in mind. So there's a few different strategies we can use. If you have another one that I'm not showing you, fine, as long as it gets you the right answer. If it doesn't get you the right answer, then we got some problems. So we're going to start with adding. Adding mixed numbers is pretty easy. Let's think of two mixed numbers. Let's do 3 3/4 plus 2 2/4. Notice, I have the same denominator. If I don't have the same denominator, I can't add my fractions, and I need to change them to be equivalent denominators. You shouldn't have to worry about that with any of your workbook pages. If you do, I'll tell you to skip those. I'm just going to rewrite this below because I realize there's a huge glare right where I wrote this. Sorry, guys. The trials and tribulations of videos. Okay, cool, right? So let's say I had 3 3/4 of pepperoni pizza and 2 2/4 of cheese pizza, and I want to know how much total pizza we have. So remember, these whole numbers are just wholes, so we can add those together very easily. When we add mixed numbers, we add our wholes, and we add our fractions. So let's do the whole numbers first, because that's easy. 3 plus 2 is 5. I knew you knew that. And now let's add our fractions. 3/4 plus 2/4 is 5/4. I knew you knew that too. I'm going to write it in purple. Now, my work is not yet done because I have a mixed number, but I also have this improper fraction. So I want to change this to not be an improper fraction anymore. We did this yesterday. You know this. So instead of 5 5/4, forget the 5 for a second, what would 5/4 be if I were to do it as a mixed number? Well, I'd have 4/4 and 1/4 left over to make 1, 2, 3, 4, 5/4. So really, this is like a double addition situation. We added first. Now I'm going to have to add my 5 wholes to my 1 1/4. So I'm going to do 5 plus 1 1/4. 5 plus 1 is 6, and the 1/4 goes along for the ride. So this equation here is actually equal to 6 1/4. So first, add your whole numbers. Second, add your fractions. Third, if you get an improper fraction, change it to a mixed number. I'm going to write that down for you. So for adding, let's go over those steps one more time. 1, add whole numbers. Those are the big numbers. 2, add fractions. They should have the same denominator. 3, change improper fraction into a mixed number and add to whole number. This is a step that you take only sometimes, step number 3. And here's an example where you don't have to take it. If I have 2 1/4 plus 2 1/4, step 1, add my whole numbers. 2 and 2 makes 4. Step 2, add my fractions. 1/4 and 1/4 makes 2/4. Is 2/4 improper? No, it's not. So I don't have to do that. That's only if you end up with an improper fraction. If you do, then you take this last step where you change your improper fraction into a mixed number and add it all together. That's the trickiest step. If you don't have to do step 3, it's kind of lucky. So I'm going to put a little dotted line because you don't always have to do step 3. That's a sometimes step if you end up with an improper fraction. So now let's do subtraction, because this is adding and subtracting. The same kind of rule applies to subtraction, except subtraction gets a little harder, it's a little trickier. So I want to show you my strategy for it. So let's say I had 6 and 2/5 minus 3 and 1/5. Same rules. Take that word add, change to subtract. Subtract your whole numbers. 6 minus 3 is 3. Subtract your fractions. 2/5 minus 1/5 is 1/5. Boom. Done. That's the easy way. That's when things work out nicely. However, sometimes you can't subtract your fractions because your fractions are not subtractable, and we have to change them around. Like in this example. I'm going to do it in blue. You guys see that one? Yeah. So if I have 6 and 1/5 minus 3 and 4/5. If I do 6 minus 3 is 3, that's fine. But I can't do 1/5 minus 4/5 because 1/5 is smaller than 4/5. I can't take 4 away from 1. It just doesn't work that way, right? So this is still a subtraction problem that works. 6 is greater than 3. This number is bigger than this number. But the way it's written, I can't actually subtract. So here's my strategy. I'm going to change this into a whole number and an improper fraction to be able to subtract. I'm going to rewrite this as 5 wholes, and then I'm going to say, okay, I'm going to take my 5/5 away from 6, right? 6 means 5/5, 5/5, 5/5, 5/5, 5/5, 5/5, right? There's 6 holes. I'm going to take one of those holes away, and I'm going to put it in my fraction. And so instead of 1/5, I'm going to add 5/5 more, and I'm going to get 6/5. These two are equivalent. Why are they equivalent? Think about it. Where did this number come from? I just took it from one of my holes here. So 6 turns into 5, but I put my hole into my fraction. And now look, I've got an improper fraction. So you literally take one of the holes and put it into the fraction. Now if I try to subtract, oh sorry, this is 4/5. I can subtract no problem. 5 minus 3 is 2. 6 minus 4 is 2. And my answer is 2 and 2/5. So let me write those steps down for you. 1. Before you do any subtraction, check. Can you subtract your fractions? If yes, great. If no, rewrite your fraction as improper. Then subtract whole numbers and then subtract fractions. So it's kind of like the reverse of adding. Adding, first we just add, and then we have to rewrite. With subtracting, first you rewrite if you have to. Ow, that hurt. Then you subtract. I know this is confusing. I know I'm not there to teach you this in person. But if you look at this video, watch it carefully, take your time, draw it out. If this is too confusing and you just want to draw, fine. I'll show you that really fast. Because that's always an option. And if you rush through your math because you want to get your work done, that's not cool. Because drawing is always an option. Just sharing. I'm a little frustrated with a couple of you who are rushing through your math. All right, so I have 6 and 1/5 minus 3 and 1/4. Okay. Sorry. I have a lot of limited board space. All right, so 6 and 1/5 minus 3 and 4/5. I'm only going to draw my big number because I'm going to take this number away. I'm not drawing this. I'm just subtracting it out. I'm going to erase it. So I'm going to draw 6 holes and 1/5 more. I'm going to take my time. I'm going to do this nicely. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and I'm going to have one more 5th over here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And I'm going to shade in all of these because I have 6 holes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31. Now I'm going to take away 3 holes and 4/5. The 3 holes is easy, right? Use black. I'm just going to cross out 1 of these holes, 2 of these holes, 3 of these holes. Gone. I'm going to put a giant X through them. Don't care about them anymore, right? I'm taking away my 3. Now I need to take away 4/5. I'm going to cross out on this hole. 1, 2, 3, 4. What's left is 1/5 here. I've got 2 holes and 1/5 here. So my answer is 2 holes plus 1/5 plus 1/5, otherwise known as 2 2/5. So I've got 2 holes, 1/5, 1/5. So literally just draw everything out and subtract away. That's great. Cross it out. I love this strategy. Otherwise, try this strategy where you rewrite it as an improper fraction and then subtract away your fractions from there. If that's tricky, don't worry about it. Try this. Totally fine. Either way, you have strategies, use them. You can watch this video as many times as you want to. I don't care if you watch it 6 times. It's totally fine. Ask me questions. You will do this awesomely. Good luck, everybody. See you later. I miss you.